Price family, it's Crystal Purrier, your librarian, and I've got another digital tool that I want to share with you that I think will be helpful for you in engaging your readers during NTI. So now this one I really want to have you experience first before I give you all the details about it. So I'm going to use my phone to get it set up. And then I have my book, and I'm still trying to get a hang of using the camera and using my book. So know that even I am still struggling with this. And I'm going to read to you today The Most Magnificent Thing by Ashley Spires. And just the first 2 pages. This is a regular girl and her best friend in the whole wide world. They do all kinds of things together. They race, they eat, they explore, they relax. She makes things, he unmakes things. One day, the girl has a wonderful idea. She is going to make the most magnificent thing. So, what you've just experienced is a digital tool called Novel Effect. Novel Effect uses speech recognition technology. So, what I mean by that is you have Hey Siri, you have Alexa, you have Hey Google on your phones, and it understands your voice and responds to it. Novel Effect does the same thing. So it's just an app on my phone that I've downloaded. It's free. It works with Android. It works with iPad, or sorry, Apple. So you can also, if you have an iPad, you can use it for that, or if you I believe you might be able to use it for Chromebooks too. Okay, so it's free, and all you have to do is download it and pick up one of your favorite books to read. So I'm going to switch over to my screen share and show you a little bit of some of the titles that are on there. Now, I'm going to share this slide deck with you, and there's a complete list of titles. And the complete list of titles are arranged in different ways. Some of them are arranged where the books are an open domain. And what that means is that you have no worries about recording yourself and posting it on the internet as a read aloud. Then it goes into some limited permissions. So if you record yourself reading, then you need to put it in like a secure place, like under your Google Classroom or on a website that only your students know to access. But if you're using this as a Google Meet, which I did, then that's fine too, because they're only seeing that as a live version. But then it also arranges them in different ways where you can see them as a list of poetry or a list of diversity. So you can already see we have some of these titles in the library. Some of these are brand new titles. Some of them you might already have in your classroom library. So you're just going to grab those. Maybe even have some of them at home. Diversity, right? We have things for Caldecott and Coretta Scott King's. We even have one that's Sparkle Boy, which is LGBTQ. They're classics, right? I mean, Tootle, all the way back to like Golden Books, Pokey Little Puppy, which is my favorite childhood book. That one's on there. So you might even be digging out to like your books that you had as a child to be able to bring back to students and like, hey, this is the one that I grew up loving. And then poetry. So Shel Silverstein with where the sidewalk ends. There's some poems on there. This was a presentation that I did for some older students, or for older teachers for like middle and high as well. So, if you want to look for some things that are from some older groups. Let's take a look at the Novel Effect website, just to give you maybe some other ideas about what it looks like, where can you get it, what other things are available. So there are some teacher resources that they did put out to help teachers for remote learning. Now, it's not extensive, but there are some things that you could pair up with a title you may already have in your classroom library. But there are some tips for recording, video tips for shared online reading louds, those publisher guidelines like I talked about earlier. As we know, there are tons of books that are on YouTube that are recorded by different teachers or different individuals, and some of those are breaking copyright rules. It is what it is. There's no copyright police at Price. No one's going to come and get you, but it is an author's work. It isn't an artist's work. So as much as you can be professional about that, it's appreciated. Here are some activities that you can put with those resources, and then updated lists. So some of these titles have free ebooks, so you can share those with students, and then you can do a screen share as you're reading those aloud, and it will respond. So I'm just going to go through and kind of show you those. So there's some of the ebooks that are there. So these are new authors that are just trying to get their names out there. So you can click on those and share those in a screen share as you read aloud, and it will, same thing like before. As I read, you heard music, you heard sound effects, you heard the narration afterwards, right? Or not so much narration, but speech that came right. So the little girl responded things that I said, the dog responded to things that I said. And one of the cool things is that it also recognizes if you have to stop and start over, and understands those things too. And if you look, there's an activity. So you could read this and then share the activity with the student after you've done the reading. Slumberkins is one that has lots of social emotional that go with it. So those are resources for those. And I really enjoyed how they put a lot of life into Peter Rabbit. So I've been using this in the library for the last year. Students really, really enjoy them. And I know when you came for Book Buddies, my K1 and 2, this is something that you saw students read and respond to. So students really enjoy reading aloud to these too. This is something free that they could do if they have these books at home. I know, again, if they have these books at home. But I know some of the students at Price asked me about this. They took a little sheet home and they've downloaded it onto their phones. So they use it when they're reading aloud. So here is another tool. I hope that you play around with it. It's honestly, it's so much fun. I really enjoy using it. One of my tips is that you practice it before, because there are some nuances. You have to go a lot slower so you can pick up on some of the effects that do happen. Sometimes I've missed effects and found out later in my second reading or my third reading that they were there. So that's one of the things to think about as you do it. It helps to have practiced with it to see what's going on with that. So if there's anything that you need from me to help you with using Novel Effect, I'll be glad to help you. Thank you.